Hello everyone, I'm Tim from Tim's PC and I build custom PCs to suit anyone's needs or budget. Also live stream my builds and repairs for transparency and educational purposes. So if you would like to get an awesome new PC and you'd like to see it get put together live, send me a message today. Alright, so this afternoon we're going to be doing some upgrades and a bit of maintenance here on Stephen's PC. So this is I'm pretty sure this is a Ryzen 3700X under here, and we've got a Galax 3070 in here, I believe. Yep, Galax 3070. So not a bad piece of kit here. We've got what looks like an Aorus B450 Elite AX motherboard, and we're going to be upgrading it today with some Rgb cable extensions. I'm going to be adding a 2TB Samsung SSD. So let's get started. So we'll tackle this SSD first, and so we can use the 3.5-inch hard drive tray to mount our SSD. Yeah. Hey Nick, how you going? I'll get back to you about that cheap computer you want. Hey Mick, how you going? What did he say? Yeah, long time. It's been like what, 12 hours. They're not meant to be white fans. Around the side here, these light up RGB all around the side. So when it's lit up, it's only black there. The rest of it's all illuminated.
I'm hiding in the background.
Yeah, she's there. She's always lurking. Alright. So let's just get a couple of these screws in here. Oh. Doesn't want to play ball today. And we'll get another couple in here. Not that it really needs it. You're installing a 2.5-inch SATA SSD. As long as you don't even really need one bolt.
Tim?
Yeah.
Is that V crapple that you drink?
That V, that is Raspberry Lemonade V. So it's awesome. If you like raspberry lemonade, you like this. I think one of these is like 3 cups of coffee or something. I don't know, it's a lot of coffee. I live on coffee. And coffee in the morning, and then I've fallen into the habit of drinking these while I do these live streams because I'm meant to be talkative and stuff like that. I'm meant to actually say words. So apparently that helps you say words. Alrighty. Yeah.
Mixes all sounds nice, still loaded with caffeine still.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yep. So if you're on the decaf, probably stay away. Okay, so I'm going to need a SATA cable. as in SATA power. we feed one of these through here. Yes, yes we can. Yep, that is plugged in. Look at that, nice and easy. Easy, breezy, Mac Deluxe. If you get that reference, you're very cool. SATA's coming out down the bottom one. So we'll just leave this one down there for now. And so we've largely got our SATA drive installed. We're going to be reinstalling Windows on this PC, so we won't be connecting them just yet. But we'll turn our attention now to the Rgb cable extensions. So these are always, everyone loves these things. Yeah.
It says here that message was just for a dog shit bill that can run pretty much a hard drive and can connect to HDMI.
Yeah.
TV.
I think I've got a big dude. I've got a big pile. I've got a big pile of like old computer parts and stuff. I've just been meaning to make some time to sit down and go through them all and see what works and see how many computers I can put together. Alrighty, so start with this ATX one. Let's just break this out quite unceremonially. So this is it. So all we've got to do is we've just got to replace this ATX power cable from our power supply, and we can run this one probably either right up the top, I don't know, we'll just leave it there for now, and we're going to plug in our Rgb cable extension if it wants to plug in. Yep.
Scott says, hey Tim, and Christine.
Hey Scott, how you going? How's the PC going? I went back to the shop today and I forgot to bring your old CPU back in for a warranty claim. I'll remember next time. They know it's coming. Okay, so I'm going to plug this power cable in over here because it's just easier. Come on. Jesus.
Like a dream, just need to buy meat and monitor now.
Yeah. Jesus. That's not coming out. Alrighty, so our first cable extension's in.
10.
So we will just daisy chain this up, I think.
10.
Yeah.
Scott says the 60 hertz one I'm using is a bit rubbish. It does the job for now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, it's gonna be it's a little bit crap. You'll notice being on a 60 hertz one. 75's a lot better than 60. But yeah, I mean realistically you can't go wrong with 144 hertz. See, like I say to people who are trying to get their heads around monitors and stuff, if I sat down with a random person who didn't know shit about computers or graphics or any of that kind of thing and got them to play some games, and I did like a blind test where it was two monitors that looked exactly the same, or maybe even the same monitor just running different refresh rates. And I reckon after a very short amount of time, the person would be able to easily tell the difference between 60 and 144 hertz. However, do the same experiment between 144 hertz and 240 hertz, the same people, I would hazard a guess that they would struggle to tell the difference between 144 and 240 hertz. So that's why 144 is such a sweet spot. Sweet. Okay, so for our graphics card, will we run it below still? I reckon we still run it below.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It says on that guy that knows nothing but thanks to Tim I've been looked after.
Hey, we've all got to start somewhere, mate. Let's get this in.
Yeah.
Sweet. Now, the RGB through.
10.
Yeah.
And it says where Tim, I can get you to start looking out for those Corsair Vengeance HDD RAM memory 4x8s and why the paychecks have started rolling.
Yeah, no worries, man. Okay, so we've got our RGB cable extensions in place, and so we've got our RGB hooked up at the back, so hopefully we'll be all ready to go now. So
Look at those, that strip from the top is coming down, Tim.
what's that?
The strip on the top and it's coming off.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, I didn't put that there. Okay. It's the cable. So we'll plug in some power. Plug in some display. We'll plug in some peripherals. And we will unplug this side of cable. Oh, and where's our other side of cable gone?
Tim.
Yeah.
You know, says where before. Look who's back.
What's that?
It's been a while. Where have you been?
Yeah. Haven't seen Neil for ages.
Tim.
Yeah.
Nick said he bought his mum a new phone.
Oh, did he?
What one did he get?
Yeah.
Neil says, shouldn't you be in lockdown? Oh wait, that's the other end of the country. Queensland's cousins.
Alright, let's get a move on here. So we've disconnected both of our SATA hard drives. So now we're just going to do a straight, fresh install.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. All good. That's to be expected.
Cool.
It's definitely looking nice.
Bloody hell, that's bright.
Mm-hmm.
In a few weeks, Nick's getting himself an S21 Ultra. Cool.
Very nice. Alright. So let's fix this up. Alright, let's get it going on. Okay. There we go. And install. It's just deleting the partitions. Doing a few things there in the background, because when I actually clicked delete on them, it wasn't actually deleted. It doesn't get deleted so you click next. So that's why it took a little while then to start. And now plugged our SATA devices in. Now it looks like everything's getting plenty of juice there for our RGB. Very good.
Funny stories. The phone I got, it was like 300 plus. I paid 220 on American location where I go to Woodridge. Put two and two together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's restart now. Let's not waste any time here. Speaking of not wasting time, here's my SSD. And so this is the Orico NVMe USB-C enclosure, which will enable you to run your drive at the 10 gigabit speeds of USB-C. So a USB drive that reads and writes at gigabyte a second. And we can actually go ahead now and remove our Windows installation USB, and we can actually plug in this drive as well. And we'll get ready to plug in, but we won't plug it in just yet, our Ethernet cable. Just leave it sitting there in the socket but not plugged in. Okay, so we are not in the United States, we are in Australia. I don't have internet. Serious? What's internet? Okay. You getting everything ready? Well, now you can have internet. Once you start doing some real work, then you can have access to the internet. Okay. Yeah.
And says everyone has said build my computer next weird, hey?
What's that? Sorry?
Everyone has said build my computer next weird, hey?
Yeah. Some software from the other hard drive that wants to install itself. I'm pretty sure Stephen has Razer peripherals, so we'll let that install. Okay. So we've got a 2 terabyte hard drive there. Just confirm that that's a hard drive. Yes. I'll put down some custom desktop icons. Rgb Ryzen master installation file.
Tim?
Yeah.
This jokes lovely work, Mr. Tim.
Yeah, we're just waiting on cards. Cards is like what holds everything up right now. Because I try and buy them in Queensland where possible, but you know, I'm sure you don't want to get charged an extra $200 for your PC just to have it like 3 days quicker or something like that. So I always, if it has to take an extra few days to get here from interstate but saves you a lot of money, I'm always going to save you a lot of money. So okay, Ryzen Master is installed there, that's good. We've got some WD products here, so, oh, wrong one. Got our display driver there. Okay, so we'll get some, just get a few basic apps installing here. Okay, and so now we'll get BattleNet installed. And we'll do a quick BIOS update while we're here. Oh shit, I downloaded the wrong utility. going on here? These should have been coming along. Okay, so let's disconnect this drive. Let's set up our new SSD. There we go. Alright, so we just got the last of them to go. Set the date and time. What is the time? Yep, we've got to get going pretty soon because old mate is going to be rocking up wanting his PC back. What's up? No. I haven't had any. Start locking the door. Steam, Origin, where's Battle.net and Epic Games? I know I clicked on Battle.net. I think that's everything we need. Okay. Nearly done. Alright. I was just about to do that anyway. Yeah. So I just left the panels for this case outside after I blew it out.
god. I was starting to feel tired. Now I'm awake.
Okay.
Steve says new eyes look sick.
Yeah, they do, man. You like that? Thought you'd be happy with that. Okay, 21H1 is installed. Alright, so let's get a few things going on here. Stop everything opening up automatically when Windows launches, because that's just annoying. We're big kids, we know what we want to launch automatically. Yes, there's the two that we want. We want our audio controller and we want our Windows security notifications, but everything else can be disabled. Sweet. What's going on here? Alright, still doing some installations there in the background. There we go. Alright. Got our cumulative updates going on there now. Hey Stephen, I got a question. How did what looks and smells like powdered sugar get all through your PC? Walk me through the story there. I'm assuming it wasn't like something else that looks like powdered sugar. It did smell like powdered sugar. Okay.
It says cutting some meth.
Okay, so let's get a few things. Let's get this PC tuned up a little bit. We'll just do the auto OC with Ryzen Master. Yeah. Hey Trent, how you going? Got your USB hub installed? But I have to get the Dremel and just remove a tiny little bit of metal, because when I've slotted the card in, it just doesn't quite line up nicely with, not quite fit a USB port in there, so a USB stick. So I just have to shave off a little bit of metal there with a Dremel to make it fit. For you. But we got a bit of time with yours. You're not picking up till Tuesday.
Steam says server controller over RGB now. And it says sugar. No idea. I don't have sugar in my PC.
Wow. Okay.
There was all this like white.
Dude,
powder.
big clouds of like white, like sugar came out of your PC when I blew it out. I've never seen anything like it. I was like, he must have had an accident with sugar and it's just blowing it all up into the case. Either that or it would have been even more...
Parrots, maybe it's their feathers.
Didn't smell. I mean, it could be. I mean, what bird feathers do produce like a bit of like that dusty stuff.
I don't know. It was, yeah, white powder everywhere.
Yeah, it was. I was like, surely he didn't have a very big cocaine spill. That would have been expensive.
Nick says, I hope you backed it up.
I know, right? Nah, so that's weird. So you don't even know. It's not even. You don't remember something like that happening. Interesting. All right, let's do the OC scanner here and get this card tuned up. Okay, while that's doing that, let's put that down there. We'll go into RGB Fusion because he was saying he was having problems with RGB Fusion, but that could have been to do with drivers on the motherboard.
Steven says he has a cockatoo. So
That's strange. What's going on?
is it like stalled or something?
I don't know. There we go. Okay. So it's not controlling the RGB. So what's going on here? Let's get that wired up. As such, what have we got going on here? Good on Tim, just drop the bolts. Aha.
Did you fix it?
Yeah, I found the source of our problem.
Oh, now it's all out.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like we have a faulty RGB controller here.
Well, you got 50 million of them.
Now let's just okay. So what have we got here? We've got a chain over here. We've got a chain down here. Okay, so that's let's just sort out these RGB devices. So it looks like alright, so we've got all the Leon Lee lights in here. So I'm going to stash them away. And now the rest of our RGB chain. So This is always the fun part. Yeah. Nick says what?
Jake says round 2 of not setting it up correctly.
No, so there's a faulty controller and it was all hooked in through the one controller, and that's why it wasn't communicating with the motherboard. And so what I've had to do is I've had to hook up one line at the top and I'm doing another line down here at the bottom. But I'm trying to do it without removing the power supply. Easier said than done. It's going to be easier for me to come in from the other end, I think. So I'm going to use this RGB extension cable. Shut the fuck up, weird doggy. Where did I put my tweezers?
Right there.
These ones? No, I want the other ones.
The black ones?
Oh shit. Okay. Shut the fuck up, stupid fans. Why does that noise annoy me so much?
Nick says I hate that sound.
Yeah, I know, it's...
Ah.
For fuck's sake.
Nick says to on a PC or you do problem solving.
There we go.
Oh wow. That's pretty cool actually.
You like that? There we go. Zoom in. Alright, still doing the tuning on the graphics card there, 38% complete. So it's looking like it's got another 15-20 minutes to go on that. But yes, our CPU's tuned, our RGB is all hooked up. Finally. So...
This is nice, it's like Christmas. That's what I was thinking. Steven wants to know, so I can do whatever I want with it now.
yeah. Yep, so RGB Fusion actually works. So it was this faulty controller here, this was causing the problem. The motherboard wasn't communicating to the devices hooked up in that controller, and because everything was hooked up through that, it was just on the standard color cycle that was obviously the default on this controller. So it's a bit of a pain. I'll have a play around with this because you don't actually need it anyway, as you can see. So do you have a favorite color or something like that that you'd like me to put it on? Do you like this? Do you like the way that it is now? It's pretty freaking bright. So you can, like I said, you can play around with it. RGB Fusion's actually going to work for you now. So that was just a bit of a configuration thing back here. I didn't realize that controller wasn't working because I hooked up these other fans for Steven. So I was just like, oh, yeah, this will all work. I assumed that the controller was working fine in the first place. So I'm like, yeah, I can hook everything up through here. That's nice and easy. But, no, that's okay.
Steven says, I'll sort it out when I get home, dude.
Yeah.
Nick says, yeah, I want my PC to look like that. Those goals.
Yep. Alright, so I'm just concealing all these RGB cables now, and I'll put the panel back on the back.
Oh, that turned off the cables.
What did I do then?
And the strips. Ah.
Oh yeah.
You pulled this strip away from the back.
I think we might tape up some of these connections here so we don't have to worry about them coming undone. Just while we wait for MSI OC scanner to do its thing with the graphics card. So tape up these cables. Put the back panel back on it, and we're pretty much ready for Steven to come pick up. And we let this run all the way through, and then it's like failed. And then I have to manually tune it. And alright, got a couple more to go. So many RGB devices, so many connections, but at least we'll be able to stash them back and out of the way without too much concern.
So cool.
Yeah, Christine's mesmerized.
Can't stop staring at it. Would be cool if that graphics card was side mounted as well. So then you'd be able to see the colours of the fans.
Yeah, because the
RGB as
graphics
well.
card has RGB fans on it. Because it's the Galaxy one, which is really cool. Yeah. 97% completed.
That'll look pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Freaking bright.
Sweet.
Did it work?
Yep.
Yay.
Yep.
Nick says he's not hella picky and was not happy with the fans of this piece. 7 matching fans.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, I feel ya.
Okay, so do you want to see how this runs now? Why didn't we get a page open from CPU ID? Okay, so there's U on 529. And there is a standard 3700X on 509. So that's single thread, multi-thread. So that's U there. And there's 3700X. So basically you're on par with a 3800X now. So you paid for a 3700X, now you've got a you paid for a 3700X, now it's running like a 3800X. So that's pretty cool. As for some graphic benchmarks, we'll do a quick heaven run here, and then I'm sure Stephen wants to pick this up and get on his merry way back up to the sunny coast. So we'll run this through and we'll just make sure that the thermals look like they're going to stay in line for him. I'm sure they will. So our 300 frames a second here in the opening scene. It's good. So we'll do a quick Cinebench. So we'll do a quick heaven run, and we'll do a quick Cinebench run, just to make sure the thermals are staying good. But I'm pretty sure this is all hunky dory. I'm really happy because Stephen's had issues with this computer for a while. There was some sort of issue when he got it. Like, I know the guy who bought it off down in Sydney, and there was obviously something got mixed up with the SSD that got put in it, and the SSD that got put in got put in this PC had Windows Enterprise Edition on it. So very, very weird situation, and it was causing him all sorts of headaches. He was trying to do this and trying to do that. I think the wrong drivers were installed on it, and it's just headache after headache. I actually just used Ryzen's simple, easy overclocking tool called AMD Ryzen Master. I could probably etch out further performance on it if I spent a couple of hours sitting down and playing around with this and testing it. I could probably get it to run a bit harder, but at least now, just with a few clicks and using AMD's own software, we can get it to run like the next SKU up, at least just with a click. And like I said, you could push it further, but you've got to spend the time doing that. You've got to run all the benchmarks, make sure that what you've keyed in is actually stable. If not, you're going to get halfway through playing a game and your computer's going to blue screen and stuff like that. So you don't want that happening. That's the flip side of overclocking, is the more you push it, the more unstable it becomes. So yes, I love, yeah, bit of dubstep. That's
Alright, it's Rainbow. Get some happy hardcore going.
yeah, get happy hardcore. Crank the cheese. Give me the cheese. But yeah, I mean, as you can see here, CPU's not really doing any work here.
It's just a chat.
Yep.
Some cell.
Yes. Yep.
Darren Styles.
Yep. Good old Searle, local legend. Brisbane boy. And he's actually...
We used to rave with him back in the day.
Yeah. Yep. Back in the old Mayhem days. I ran the Mayhem fucking parties. Harley.
Yeah.
He was just a rich boy property developer's son who had access to daddy's cash, so he threw all these parties.
It's like, I want to throw a mad party. Let's do it.
No, he told his dad he was like an event planner or organizer, and his dad would just give him like tens of thousands of dollars to host events and shit like that.
Meanwhile, he's just chucking.
He just wants to party, man. He just wanted to get high, I think. Just a rich boy who wanted to party and be known as the guy who started the parties and shit, you know. Fantasy life. But hey, there was some mad parties that we all got to go to, so I'm not going to complain too much. Okay, so let's get out of this. Let's just do a quick Cinebench run. Won't do a full stress test on it because we know that this computer. I don't have Cinebench. Let's get Cinebench. And so these overclock settings will be applied whenever you start the computer, so you don't have to worry about it. The apps that'll run it is this one here called Ryzen Master, and this other app here, the little jet icon, MSI Afterburner, And then the statistics screen is this one here called Riva Tuner. If you want to turn it on and off, hit Control F11 and it will toggle that screen on and off. So if you want to see how hot your computer's running or how much resources your computer's running while you're gaming, you can just hit Control F11 and it will bring up that overlay for you. Alright, Cinebench is going. No, I don't want that. Alright, hairy donut. Alright. Okay. Show me what you got. As you can see there now, the CPU is at 100%. Oh, you can't really see the stats from here. No. Okay, so Thermark doesn't break the GPU. It can put more stress on old components and can cause weaknesses within those old components to, basically fail quicker. But when you're using it with new hardware should be able to run this without failing because it's all new components in there. So Thermark is something that I use pretty frequently when it comes to stress tests. It's not something that you use unsupervised. It's not something that I use for extended periods. It gets used for up to 90-minute runs on new hardware only. Yeah, no, you don't have to worry about Thermark breaking your GPU, running it for short periods, as long as you have a modern GPU. If it's old or it's heavily used, I wouldn't advise it. But yeah, having said that, it has its place. This is also, see, Cinebench here, this is basically the same level of torture test on the CPU as Thermark is on the GPU. There's another app we can use on the CPU as well called PowerMax, and that's also dangerous for the same reason that you're worried about Thermark. But they put those warnings on there for amateurs that don't understand what an AVX2 instruction set is in the case of PowerMax. But yeah, it's one of those things. They're tools, you use them. They're not to be used every day. But yeah, use at your own risk, definitely. Can you please change colours between my head in?
Starting to have seizures.
Yeah. Okay. No. Well, we're not going to be running this for too much longer. Anyway, we're not doing a full stress test here because Stephen most likely wants to get going pretty soon. And this is a relatively new computer, and it's been running fine for Steve in the last 3 to 6 months or so that he's had it. So, yeah, happy days, I think. And Stephen will notice a notable increase in his performance. And so how are these temps looking? Trust hardware monitor more than Thermark, or Riva Tuner I should say. Yeah. I love the shelving. Yeah, no, you do have to. Who was saying that? What Taylor's saying about Thermark is legit. So, if you've got old hardware, it definitely can cook that old hardware. But you gotta think, right? This is a Galax 3070 card. It's designed to be overclocked. They expect you to overclock it. So when we're talking about cards that are designed to be overclocked, they're designed to be pushed hard. So running an intensive application like Thermark, not so much a problem on your new 3070 or 3080, but if you have an old GTX 560 or something like that, and it's done tens of thousands of hours of hardcore work, you might not want to run Thermark on it, because that's the kind of card that is at the high risk of failure from running an application like that. Also, this is what we're doing here with Cinebench. This is an AVX2 instruction set on the CPU, so this puts out a hell of a lot of heat, hell of a lot. That's why I use it for stress tests, because there's not many workloads out there that are just pure AVX2 like torture on the CPU. So if your CPU stays cool while I run a long Cinebench test, then I'm pretty confident that it's always going to stay cool. So here we've got overclock settings applied to our Ryzen 3700, and we're getting up to about 85 degrees here after what, 7 minutes or so of running. So our AMD CPUs have an operational temperature of up to 95 degrees Celsius. So that gives us roughly about 10 degrees or so of headroom there. So if I was to run this with Thermark or a benchmark app that was taxing the GPU while I was running Thermark, and I ran it for like an hour and a half, we'd probably end up getting to about 92 degrees on the CPU, which is just under temp, and it's not a sort of temperature that we're realistically going to hit in the real world here. So there's no point manual overclocking Ryzen, right? You can. It's just a bit more. It's just a bit more complicated than overclocking Intel. So you can absolutely. You can do everything that you've done in Ryzen Master. You can do it all from BIOS as well. Just makes it a little bit easier for people, because no doubt they get a lot of questions on how to overclock their CPUs. Intel have got an app as well called Intel Extreme Tuning Utility, and you can use that to overclock your K and X series Intel chips. You can also use it to turn off various factory limits for your F and non-letter Intel CPUs. So sometimes I'll have an F series Intel CPU, and I'll still install XTU in it onto the PC, just so I can get it to ignore all the limits from Windows, and then the CPU will run a little bit harder. There won't be a time limit on the on turbo boost. There won't be a temp limit on turbo boost. It'll just turbo boost when it needs to, and it won't sort of cut itself back. You can get it to do that. You can't overclock. You can't change the clock frequency or any of that. So there's definitely a few things there that you can do. And so yeah, we're not, now that we've taken the graphics card off Thermark and that's not putting out any heat, we're not even getting to 85 here now on our CPU. And there we can see our rough performance. So that's going to be roughly 12,000, it looks like, 11,500. So these are all the chips that it's beating, and as you can see, it's just below a Threadripper 1950X, which is not an apples. Oh, no, it's not an apples for apples comparison, because that's a 16 core, and this is just an 8 core. And then we've got Xeon W3265M, and that is, how many cores is that? 24 cores, 48 threads. And then we got the big boy up here, the 2990WX, so the workstation Threadripper CPU, and this is a 32 core 64 thread behemoth. And so this is the final render page on this Cinebench run. We're not gonna, we're gonna make another one. We've made another one. Look at that. Oh no. Yeah, we made another one. with like half a second to go. I don't think it'll work properly through the glass.
Reckons the glass is about 28 degrees.
Alrighty, so there it goes. So yeah, 12,000, I was pretty much right. So that's its final score there for a 10-minute run. So that should be all of our updates installed. Got our game clients installed there. Got a heap of other useful applications. Yeah, I just install bloatware for the sake of bloatware. No, I install all this stuff because it's useful. Yeah, that's essentially, you can basically, if you want to understand where your performance is pretty much at, you're pretty much at Ryzen 3800X / Intel 9900K performance out of the box. So you're slightly below a Ryzen 5800X. But like I said, you're on par with the 3800X, which essentially, see, there's not really any difference between a 3800X and a 3700X. It's just that the 3800X is tuned a bit higher from factory. And so what we can do is we can take a 3700X, we can put a big AIO liquid cooler on it or a chunky air cooler on it, and then we can just manually tune it to the specs of the 3800X. And because we've got the extra cooling capacity, it can keep it cooler, and then it can be stable running like a 3800X. And so that's one thing that some people do, but the other, you might just think, oh, so never buy the better SKU, just buy the cheapest one and just overclock it. Well, no, not if you want to get the absolute performance, because if you take a 3800X and you try to overclock that, you'll get better overclocks on that than what you would from a 3700X. And that's because it was one of the ones, if it became a 3800X, it was a slightly better quality CPU itself, and that's why it is stable at higher clocks. So, a few fun facts. Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, if you need any help setting any of that up, just let me know. And yeah, Stephen, so this is ready for you, man. So I don't know whereabouts you're hanging out right now, but I can have this boxed up and ready for you to take home whenever. So it's all looking good. Yep. Just make sure there's no pesky cumulative Windows updates there. We should have got everything. There was some other cumulative ones.
Stephen's at the gate.
Oh, okay, cool. We'll just get these. Yep, we'll just get these. I'll bring it down to you. These won't take long to install. They're just security updates. Yeah, oh, definitely. Now that he can actually adjust his lights, and now that he doesn't feel like it's incomplete without the cable extensions. All right, it wants to do a quick reboot. We'll just do that. Make sure that update installs correctly and it's not going to cause any headaches. And then Stephen can get on home, hook it up, and start gaming. Well, he's gonna have to download some games, unfortunately. I think he moved a couple over to his hard drive, so he should be able to play them if he's really desperate. But he'll probably just come home and sign into his accounts and start downloading games, I'd say.
That end fan's flickering.
Is that just because... What's going on there? Because it should automatically load up RGB Fusion. Okay, so let's do an experiment here. Okay, all right. Okay. So, what's happening is that last fan is not quite getting enough juice from the line that it's on. And so, what that means is I have to remove this panel back here and change our configuration slightly. Okay, yep, I know what we'll do. How's that looking? Should be all the fans and the cooler lit up and one of the extensions not lit up, plus
Cooler's not lit up.
yeah, the cooler's not lit up.
Cooler and fans and graphics card cable.
Okay. Glad we noticed that flickering fan. There we go, look at that. What's up?
I'm just happy to fix my baby so I can play with friends.
Yeah.
Or is even happier so she can watch her shows in peace.
Yeah, that's it. Happy wife, happy life.
So as soon as I come in mid-season, I'll ask 100 catch-up questions. Now it's fixed.
So now everything should be nice and stable.
I think I noticed that before I got it on.
Yeah, I know, because this would have been hard to explain over the phone. Simple solution. Like it was just me changing the way it was wired in, but still, it's a lot of cables back there, eh? So alright, so now we should be sweet. Let me just, it's not flashing anymore, but let me just go back to static. How come that graphics card's on? Oh no, that's because that cable there and the cooler are connected through the top one here. So if we went to, yeah. If we go back to the crazy digital G, it does that. Anyway, that is all done and ready to collect. Don't forget his power cable. Sweet as. Alright, well, just a second, I got it. No, maybe I don't. I really don't, do I?
Just let me do it. Bloody hell.
Alright everyone, catch you later. I'll see you all in the next video.